right, let's call to order the Board of Directors meeting for March 12th, 2025 to order, and let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Ready, begin. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Denise, can we get a roll call, please?
Director Lohmeyer,
Present.
Director Johnston, Director Walper,
Here.
Director Martinez,
Here.
Director Berman,
Here.
Vice Chair Rydell,
Here.
and Chair Wheeler. We have a quorum.
All right, good evening, everyone. Chair Wheeler sends his regrets. He finally has got the flu that's been going around. So he very graciously offered to not share it with us, and we gladly accepted. So you're stuck with me running the meeting tonight. So, Denise, was the agenda properly notified?
Yes, it was.
All right. So can I get a move to either approve or amend the agenda as presented?
Vice Chair Rydell, I move to approve the agenda.
Thank you.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much. On to Board of Directors reports, and as always, we will start with the incomparable Director Walper.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I have nothing tonight.
All right. Thank you. Director Berman.
I'm sure we'll hear about it in your report, but I'm looking forward to hearing about DHP,
Yes,
the pregame version of it.
yep, you got it.
Excited to host it again, and sounds like it's gonna be a good event.
Yeah.
And I'm also looking forward to spring sports are now started.
8 of them,
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah.
And hopefully we're getting plenty of volunteers for transportation in those groups.
We're working on it.
That's all I've got.
Director Lohmeyer.
I'm just gonna do a quick wrestling update for me and Will, who's not here. Or I guess Director Johnston. So we had 7 kids qualify for state. I think Mont will cover some of this later at the high school level. Quite a few kids were pretty close. We had 3 kids place. Out of those 7 kids who qualified, only 1's graduating. So we should have a really, really tough team, maybe the toughest team we've had in over a decade. We have a lot of committed kids. We took about over 10 kids, high school and little kids combined, to Reno Worlds during the preseason, which is one of the biggest tournaments in the country. We have started developing coaches. So we have multiple college All-American wrestlers coaching at the high school level. We have a college All-American wrestler coaching at the middle school level, along with a D1 wrestler at the middle school level. We have Ryan Dunn, who used to go here at the little kid level, and he was a 2-time state champ, a 4-year D1 wrestler, a Pac-10 finalist, and he's got 2 other college wrestlers coaching with the little kids with him. So we're kind of stacked on coaching, which is awesome. It's like really hard to do that anywhere. So to do it in a small town is pretty remarkable. It's taken a lot of years, but you know, we're getting there. We had our first girl state champion at the kid level and a girl runner-up at state at the kid level. We took 1 girl to state at the high school level. We took more kids to state this year than any other time that I know of on record. We had the biggest middle school numbers we've had in a very long time. And we ran the only Willamette Valley Middle School end of season tournament. And we hosted the only all-girls tournament in the Willamette Valley, which we could only do because the school district doesn't charge our kids' sports fees, which a lot of schools are doing now, and so they aren't able to run as many events as they like. So we were able to host all these people and get kids opportunities to participate and hang out, so.
Great job.
Awesome. All right, I think Director Lohmeyer took your board report. Did you have anything else you wanted to add? You're good? Okay. All right, mine's a little lengthy, so I'm gonna take some of Ben's time since he's not here, but, are you gonna talk about SEI filing?
No.
Okay, so
But
just
I
for the
can.
board, SEI filing opens up Saturday, so, I think everybody but Whitney's been through that. before, so if you have any questions, talk to me, talk to.
Vice Chair Idell, in the era of Doge, could you maybe explain the why the SEI filing is important for board members to do?
I will try, and then if I miss,
I gotcha.
you can support me on that. So, but essentially, it is an effort in transparency. So anybody that serves in the public eye, the governing bodies want to understand if there are direct connections or conflicts of interest. And so,
Financially.
what's that?
Financially.
Financially, yes.
Yeah.
And so it's relatively new for school boards. It started 3 years ago. I think this is the third year. And so prior to that, we didn't have to do that, but Superintendent Carpenter had to do it every year. And so it really is from a school board member, because we're part of the school board, if we have any financial gain that comes through the entity that we support, that is disclosed. And so I can honestly say my wife works for the school district, so I have filing that I need to do on that to disclose that there is a financial impact from my household. And that's really what it's all about.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. All right. I was able to attend the National Honor Society induction last week. 24 new inductees to the National Honor Society at Estacada High School, which was really awesome, with a total of 45 NHS members at the high school. I attended a OSET, Oregon High School Equestrian Team event. This was actually last month, but I didn't report it, and it was a fun event, and anytime you get to go, it's a really cool opportunity to see those kids and see them perform with their animals after all the time they put into it. So, last Saturday was the District 13 Solo Ensemble Contest, and I had to get a list because it's rather lengthy. Estacada owned the podium this last weekend, but I want to make sure I don't leave anybody out, so bear with me here. I had it up, my phone got out of it. Okay. So we had 20 kids participate, and I'll just go through in the list that they were sent to me, name and placing. So, where are we at? Here we go. Okay. Henry Rydell, first place and going to state for baritone voice. He is also first place and going to state for marimba. Ethan Stalkup took second place baritone voice. Nathan Dodd, second place bass voice and first alternate to state. Isaac Crandall, first place tenor voice. Piper Coy, first place and going to state mezzo-soprano. Emma Stalkup, first place and going to state for alto voice. Dylan Park, fourth place soprano voice. Townsend Weiler, first place euphonium. Carter Brewster, second place tuba. Emily Holmes, third place clarinet. Cristobal Mendoza Gonzalez, second place alto saxophone. So out of 20 kids, that's a lot of placers. So it was a good day to just tell the bigger districts that they can try harder next time. So, oh yeah, thank you. So a great day. Three people going to state for 4 different things. In my history, I can't recall that happening. So, so it's a big one. This last Saturday, I had a fundraising concert with the Casimir Effect Band, multiple students and alumni performing, which was really awesome. So I think I will stop there, but with Will not being here, I just skipped this whole side of the room. So Rosa, please, I'm sorry.
No, you're
Your
fine.
report.
No, please,
Now
keep on going.
talk for a while.
Yeah, no reports on my end. We're
Okay.
good.
She had all
Thank you.
kinds of things.
All kinds of things to say, so my apologies.
No, you're good.
All right. And that's it, right? We didn't miss anybody more? All right, thank you. All right, we'll move on to district reports. First up is Communications Department. Good evening, ladies.
Good evening. In the month of March in communications, we are, of course, focused on Destination High Performance, just providing a really quality product for educational leaders from around the country, but also for our staff and our families to know what is expected, why we do this, and how our students really benefit from being able to show and explain their learning progress and really be seen as educational leaders around the country is such a cool opportunity. And we've enjoyed working on the logistics end of that, and we're excited to document and put together some great news stories about the process as well. We're also working on another quarterly mailer that we hope to have out shortly after spring break. We're going to be focused on some of our outstanding graduation news, our highest ever graduation rate that we're very proud of. We're also going to be promoting enrollment, both kindergarten registration and enrollment in the district as a whole as we continue to grow. It is so important that we have accurate numbers as we go into the new school year, so we're really hoping to promote that and just drive more kinder registration. And as I mentioned, enrollment communication campaign, we are also putting together a video with our 2 dynamic elementary school vice principals. They introduce the elementary schools and talk a little bit about why kinder registration is so beneficial, getting to meet teachers, see around the school, and just really hope to drive those numbers up. So we've been enjoying that communication process as well. Some recently completed projects. Committee work is really wrapping up, so we're looking forward to talking with the school board about that in April and May. Both our Growth and Capacity Committee and our RISE Committee will be able to show you the applications that we've gotten from our RISE Committee and then talk about the great work that our Growth and Capacity Committee did. So that has been a wonderful process, and we were just so happy to see so many folks at the table and look forward to communicating that out to the community when the time is right. And then I'd like to think that we are completed in our inclement weather communication, although I guess you never know. But one thing I did want to highlight is that we got recognized by OPB. It was seen by literally hundreds of thousands of Oregonians, and it showcased the Estacada School District being the only school district in Oregon to have virtual school days, and we're just tremendously proud of that, to be showcased such a small district at such a large level, really doing some unique things to benefit our kids and keep learning going. So that was a positive communication on a higher scale that we're excited about. I'll turn it over to Danny now.
So our community engagement has included various aspects, but starting off with Destination High Performance, it's going to be a big topic since we're a week away, and it has been a lot of effort through the district as we've really taken on a lot of the back-end work of planning. So I've been really happy to work with a great team, and we've taken on all the behind-the-scenes work as far as registrations are concerned, poster printing, everything from billing, logistics, coordination, anything that makes the day go seamless for Jen Berman and her amazing team and all of our staff and attendees so that they can have a seamless 2-day conference. And we're really excited to share our district with our education community. Moving on, the Estacada Prevention Alliance. I've been able to attend a few events with them. This is something that is being headed by Tyra Baird and Todos Juntos. This is really an initiative to focus on community engagement and raising awareness to combat underage substance abuse. I've been to a few meetings and a community cafe to really just start discussing and raising awareness to all the different factors that really are happening in our community and things that our community can do to help combat that. I'm really excited to have a seat at that table with her and to work collaboratively on this because it is something that's important and our students are involved, and we are looking forward to future events, and we will let you guys know when those are on the calendar. And as Maggie mentioned, it is time, kindergarten enrollment. There is a kindergarten connection in April, but people can start enrolling their kinders now. We would appreciate it. And we'll just be putting out that information so any newcomers to the community are aware, and we're excited to see their kiddos next year.
Any questions?
I have one question. Oh, go ahead.
For DHP, I don't know if you're going to talk about it, and you maybe have already shared with us where everybody's coming from.
We have, it's mostly West Coast. We have Washington, Oregon, California, and then we have one district from Mississippi, I believe. So, and really the bulk of our participants are coming from Mississippi, so we're excited to welcome folks from really around the nation.
Good.
Yeah.
For kindergarten enrollment, I know we've started to build out a more robust connection with the new families that live here, and we've added some stuff to our website of, who, what school, who's the principal, who's the school board. Do we have, or have we thought about some kind of functionality of doing a household survey to finding if they have younger kids that are potentially coming through, or what that makeup is? I don't know if that would be helpful, but it seems like it might be from a planning standpoint if we're connecting with them anyway, and it might get them to actually push some buttons and fill out some information. I don't know.
That's a really good point. That's something that we could definitely look into integrating into our next quarterly mailer, because that will be the first direct mail piece that we've ever sent out to our entire community that will specifically ask folks about registration and kinder registration. So a QR code potential there might work nicely. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I want to thank you too. Finally got my 60 seconds.
We are glad to get you in the loop.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. We'll count on your views each week.
I'd also like to just take a second to formally recognize and thank Danny Randall as our community liaison. Sometimes it requires her to go into some dangerous social media spaces. And obviously, if we're not telling our story, somebody is telling our story for us. And we encountered a situation where there were some false accusations and just some data that wasn't relevant that really told our story. And I just wanted to praise you for stepping in with bravery and trying to set the record straight, which most people understood and others did not. But I just, to have a community liaison and to have someone who is paying attention to those things is so valuable to our district. And so, Danny, I just wanted to thank you for that.
Any other questions?
Thank
All right,
you.
Thank you. Next up is the operations report. John Simpson? Nope, it is not John Simpson. I should have looked up before I read the name. That would have been really smart, so.
I played John Simpson during the day. Good evening, Board. I'm really grateful for this opportunity to present the March operations report. For Nutrition Services Update, a huge thank you to Lori Dyson and Ashley Crombie for stepping up and ensuring a seamless transition in nutrition services while our nutrition services coordinator was out on leave. Their leadership highlights the strength of our systems-based approach where we rely on well-structured processes, not just individuals. Because of their aligned efforts, this shift was smooth and successful, reinforcing the effectiveness of the systems we have in place. Here are some key system improvements that have taken place since the last report. On February 7th, the nutrition services team shifted from full meals to nutritious snacks on read days. The impact has been clear. 73% of cost savings per student, less food wasted, reduced waste on buses, and increased staff efficiency, and students are still receiving a nutritionally balanced snack. Beyond Read Day, our nutrition services team has been strengthening community engagement. There has been a 73.5% increase in Facebook interactions. For our transportation department update, Transportation is happy to report successful bell time adjustments at the middle school and elementary schools. The structured dismissal process has reduced on-course behavior incidents from 3.37 per day to just 0.3 per day. This system improvement ensures efficient boarding and significantly reduces wait times for students. Transportation Winter Season Operations Report. The transportation successfully completed 114 athletic trips this winter season, and the team also covered an impressive 101,816 miles in total transportation. Transportation transports 15 students outside the districts, providing essential access to educational services beyond our local area. There's also been staffing growth. In February, the transportation team welcomed 3 new CDL licensed drivers. For Transportation's department update, the technology department continues to leverage AppSheet to streamline processes, collect data, and drive positive systems changes. Recent app deployments include the Estacada High School Read Day app, our reunification app, Speedy Rounder, our Estacada Middle School Learning Portfolio, and the Estacada School District's PD Carousel. By utilizing real-time insights, the district is able to make data-informed decisions and create more effective systems district-wide. The department remains committed to Plan, Do, Study, Act, or PDSA cycles, ensuring that data drives decision-making and continuous system improvements. Our most recent PDSAs are password expirations, which streamline access and security management. This was adopted. 28 notifications with 18 successful changes. This prevents staff from being able to access their devices and also print and work with other applications. Student Chromebook repairs at Estacada Middle School to enhance support and minimize downtime. This was also adopted. Before this PDSA, our turnaround time for major Chromebook repairs was 3.7 days. After this PDSA, it's 0.77 days. Inventory tracking system, strengthening asset management for efficiency. This was abandoned. The scope for this PDSA became too large, and we suddenly realized that this is actually a project. The Facilities Department and Operations updates. The CTE complex heat pump installation will be completed over spring break. This addresses, oh, thank you. Sorry. Okay, I'm gonna jump here. We'll just do the slides. There's transportation, their beautiful bus. And this is just a slide that can show you some of those applications and the data pages. And this slide actually shows you the softball batting cage that's been completed. The CTE complex heat pump installation will be completed over spring break. This addresses failing heating units. The redundant system provides climate control for the district's career technical space. The system is fully compatible with the district's existing infrastructure. The softball facility upgrades. The grading is complete on the exterior of the batting facility and around the field. Fencing has been installed along the north side and for the bullpen, and the siding, electrical, and fiber installations are all complete. Seismic retrofit project funded through the Seismic Grant Fund. During spring break, abatement work will temporarily close the large gym, the PE locker rooms, the upstairs wrestling room, and the sports hall. During the May break, the seismic retrofit project will be in full swing. The same locations will be closed for the remainder of the seismic upgrade project. Closure starts Friday, May 9th. We will not have use of these facilities through the end of the school year and during the summer months, with the expected reopen for use on August 12th, just in time for fall sports. Key improvements include reinforcing east and west walls with concrete to stabilize the structure, full sheetrock and paint on the east and west walls, and floor refinishing in the main gym. The stadium snack shack plumbing installation. During spring break, final tie-ins for water, sink, and drainage will be underway at the Ranger Grill, concession stand at the football field. Staffing events on Saturdays. The facilities team has returned to weekend event coverage to enhance operational support and increase stadium security. The facilities team installed new locks to enhance facility security at the football fields. And that sums up my March Operations Department report, if you have any questions. That was a lot.
Nicely done, right on time, so nice job.
Ryan, it's probably for you. Were the 3 CDL positions, were those backfills?
Yeah, a couple of them were vacant spots, and then we added an additional one just due to growth and capacity.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. And Christy Cheshire, who's our technology director, just does a fantastic job. And each month, I'm going to bring to you a new director/coordinator to share the results of that team, who's just doing a fantastic job. But the work that Christy and her team are doing in technology truly is best in class.
Yeah, I can vouch for that.
Yeah.
She helps me quite a bit. I'm probably her most problem child.
Yes.
No.
And the one that's not a child, so there you go.
For sure.
Thanks, Chris.
All right,
Thank you.
thanks, Christy. All right, next up is Finance and Accountability Report with Tanner.
Good evening.
Good evening.
For the second month in a row, you should have a physical memo in front of you that details everything that went down in the month of February. Give you some highlights. In the month of February, we received just over $5.6 million in revenue. This includes our January and February state school funds. And for expenditures for the same time period, we recorded $3.5 million across the board. That includes payroll and any other expenditures that may have come up. At the bottom of the first page, whoa, my screen keeps going dark over here. At the bottom of the first page and on the bottom right of the screen, you will see that there's a projected 15.7% ending fund balance. This number is still very fluid. I'm gonna skip ahead to the end of the memo because we are monitoring our spending in our general fund. When you create the budget, you appropriate at specific levels. So what we're doing is we're monitoring the spending just to make sure that we're staying compliant. Right now, the one thing that seems to be the cause of higher spending is an under budget for the cost of paying Summit Learning Charter their monthly state school fund. So we receive 20% of their state school fund revenue, and we send the rest to them. Right now, it was under budgeted last year. We're just monitoring it just to make sure that we're gonna be all right. So just wanted to let you guys know that. Additionally, we initiated and completed a majority of last year's budgeted transfers. So these are transfers to our curriculum adoption fund, our tech replacement, transportation replacement, PERS reserve, turf replacement, and our biomass boiler funds. We also completed the transfer to the capital improvement funds earlier last month, and you'll see where we're at with that in just a moment. The only transfer that we haven't completed yet is our transfer to food service, and we will wait until the end of, as we near the end of the school year before we make that, as we cover the costs. And we can't right now project what that's gonna be quite yet. All right, there's a graph that kind of highlights everything. Excuse me. For our capital improvement fund, we received $11,000 in revenues and we recorded $105,000 in expenditures. This includes our 400 fund, which is our capital fund, as well as our seismic rehabilitation fund. Today I met with Kim Newman to go over that, and we are prepped to put in our first reimbursement for that grant. So that is super awesome. I think we'll jump over to enrollment. I think I put these in backwards. So enrollment, we have a total increase from last month of 7. And from the prior year of 55. So we're doing really good with the growth in this district, which bodes well for next year's budget.
Tanner, before we leave that,
Yes.
the shortage in budgeting for Summit, is that in line with the growth that Summit has seen?
I think that's a portion. I think that's the biggest portion of it, is that they grew more than what was anticipated, and because we pay them on an actual basis rather than a estimated basis, the cost is just more than what was budgeted.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yep.
Does Summit, in their enrollment capacity, do they provide an estimated enrollment for 10-1, 12-1, 3-1? Do they give you estimated enrollment that there's gonna be in there?
Yeah, they give us estimated enrollment as we report it. They give us actual enrollment every month.
Sure.
And then when we when the time comes to report the estimate for next year to the state, they provide it.
And Ryan, it's been a while since I looked through the agreement. I know it varies on enrollment numbers, but it's a pass-through, right? We receive the funds and pass through the rest through.
Correct.
Great.
And then Summit's enrollment for the month decreased by 14, but a total increase of 39 since the prior year. And then finally, just to wrap it all up with a bow, last month we received about $101,000 in revenue from Summit's state school fund. So it is still beneficial for us to continue our partnership with them. Again, the budgeting thing is because there was more growth than what we anticipated, so there's no concern there. Any questions, I will gladly answer.
So, nice job.
Right.
So Tanner, is there anything not discussed or shown in the financial report that we need to be aware of?
No.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
All right, moving on to the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Board. Excited to share what's going on from last month, as well as our preparation for DHP and preparation for the conclusion of our school year, and preparing for the start of the school year as well. I first want to acknowledge that yesterday, Estacada High School hosted its College and Career Fair, which is an awesome opportunity to expose our students to the outside world and to different opportunities and pathways for our kids to explore and play around with. And I just want to recognize publicly Alice Ann Bresco, who serves as our Aspire coordinator, and she's the one that spearheads all of that, as well as brings in throughout the year different industry experts and colleges to meet with our kids and talk about things. I know Director Berman has been a part of that process and has done a fantastic job with that as well. It was a wildly successful event that kids just really loved it, and the feedback was really positive. So I just want to thank Alice Ann Bresco and Estacada High School for that process. Event. I also want to recognize Estacada's transportation team and school bus drivers. As Vice Chair Rydell alluded to, with Chair Wheeler's absence in terms of sickness, our school district has been hit very hard over the last 2 or 3 weeks with sickness and absences, and that correlates to both students and employees. On Monday, we had 6 CDL bus drivers out for sickness and absences, which dramatically hinders our ability to operate the daily school day. We can't do a school day without bus drivers. They are so imperative to the success of our organization. And I just want to recognize our transportation team because they put all hands on deck, and we did not miss one stop, we did not miss one route, and all kids were picked up and served in a reasonable time. And that is truly an honor and an acknowledgement of their hard work and commitment to the success of our school district and to each other as a team. So I just wanted to let the board know that on Monday, our transportation team was superheroes in order to make that day work. I also want to recognize our athletic director, Andy Mott, as Director Lohmeyer discussed in the successes of wrestling. We also had a very successful winter season. Andy does a phenomenal job of supporting our coaches and also has to make at times some difficult decisions. And I think Andy does that with grace, and also want to recognize Andy because this spring is the first year ever that we're offering 8 different spring activities, be that men's and women's golf, men's and women's tennis, women's flag football, men's volleyball, baseball, softball, and what's going to be impressive for you all to hear, 80 kids participating in our track program this year, which is a record level as well. And so I just want to recognize him for putting all of that together for our district, because this spring, our kids have so many opportunities to engage, compete, and participate. And that aligns with the values of this school district and what we want to offer. And I think that that's fantastic. We are in the middle of budgeting season, and I want to thank Tanner as well as Nancy, who we've hired to help us and support us as we transition. As you can see from this budget report, our district looks to still be in pretty strong shape. We're anticipating ending with a 13% end fund balance, and as we know, anywhere between 5 and 15% represents a healthy school district. So for us to come in at around 13% is really quite impressive. We're building our budget based on the governor's $11.36 billion proposed budget. We are actually optimistic that it may come in higher, but that's the data point that is the lowest and most conservative, and that's the one we're going to begin building our budget around. The other reason why I want to highlight Estacada's financial health is because I had the opportunity to meet with all of my superintendent colleagues in Clackamas County today, and the conversation was considerably different than the conversation we're having now. Westland Wilsonville is laying off $10 million worth of teachers. Lake Oswego laying off $10 million worth of teachers. Canby laying off $6.5 million worth of teachers. And Gladstone is laying off, and my heart goes out to them, is laying off elementary teachers all the way back to the hire date of the year 2015, which is a considerable cut inside those organizations. And so I just want to recognize, one, the school board of directors who have really led the school district to be financially solvent. We made a brilliant and genius decision during the pandemic era when we were receiving federal funding. We chose to purchase things and supports, not people. And part of the big reason for some of these districts laying people off is they purchased people with that one-time emergency funding. And because we chose not to do that, has us in a much better financial state, and we do not have to lay off people. Other school districts around the state of Oregon and the United States are also declining in enrollment. And so Estacada School District and the North Clackamas School District are the only two school districts in Clackamas County that are increasing in student enrollment. And so the increase of enrollment is also correlating to more revenues for us to work with to support our kids and our community. And so I'm really encouraged and optimistic about where we're at financially, which positions us well to make sure that we're giving to our teachers' contracts and our classified staff's contracts competitive wages. We can maintain our steps and continue to give cost of living adjustments. And our district is positioned well, ensuring that we're retaining and recruiting only the best people to work and educate the kids inside our community. You're going to hear a great update on our career technical education pathways improvements that we're working on right now, and I'm excited for you to hear the testimony of Aaron Gardenhire, who's done a phenomenal job. But the reason why I'm sharing this with you, and Aaron will as well, is I've been in this district for 17 years, 10 of which was placed at Estacada High School. And as long as I can remember, we've never invested into curriculum for our auto manufacturing classes. And so as we look at revamping our CTE programs to ensure that our kids are having pathways directly from school to the workforce or to apprenticeships, it's also imperative that we also revitalize the curriculum inside of these. So while I tell you we're predicted to come around 13%, I will probably be asking you either next month or the month after to probably invest $300,000 or $400,000 into revamping the curriculum, which will ultimately support our kids. It will modernize our programs and allow our kids to play with kits that are more modern than the 1972 welder that sometimes works. And so I just wanted to share that with our group as well. And the other thing I just wanted to share when it comes to the off season, the summertime, as well as our budgeting process, is with these layoffs in our neighboring district, I actually anticipate a very deep and competitive and highly qualified pool for Estacada to hire. While I do not anticipate any layoffs at this point, I actually predict that we may have an ad or two, as well as some of the open vacancies that just naturally exist. I think we're going to be able to hire, maybe steal, some really good people to bring into this community and serve and support our kids. Graduation is just around the corner, which is hard to believe. Our school district facilities team is beginning to make our facilities look as if we passed the bond in order to make our community proud of its facilities as we welcome literally 1,000 people into our community to celebrate graduation. The reason why I'm sharing this with you today is because if you'll recall, the board approved and supported that we piloted a new cohort of students. We budgeted for it to not to exceed 25 kids per cohort to attend full-time at Clackamas Community College in order to get dual credit opportunities. That's college credit and high school credit simultaneously. And while it's still only March 12th and we have about 2 months to go until the end of the school year, right now it is looking like when we're all at graduation on graduation day, 10 of our students will be coming across the graduation stage with an associate's degree and a high school diploma at the same time. And that's the first time in our history that we've been able to offer that opportunity for our kids. And I'm excited that this is the first of many to come across our stage. And that's a big win for our school district. And that makes us competitive with other school districts who have been doing this for many years. And I'm very proud of that. And in conclusion, to talk about Destination High Performance, again, like I said, I've been in this district for 17 years, and to think that school districts and school district leaders from around the United States are coming to Estacada, Oregon to learn about the innovative, national leading things that we're doing is still a surreal thing to me, and I'm just so proud. And the honor and recognition really goes to our building leaders, our classroom teachers, our paraeducators, cooks and custodians, and bus drivers who have truly executed a vision created by the school board and its community to execute evidence-based leadership to ensure that we're hitting the marks and we're able to prove that by telling our story. You ask who's coming. Here are some winners inside this group. The Baker School District from Eastern Oregon is sending 17 people. They're our size, so imagine basically 17 leaders from this school district leaving for the day. So we will pray for that district while they are here in hopes that things go well for them. We have large school districts from California. The biggest one is Hemet, California, which is right next to Palm Springs, and they serve and support 40,000 students, and they'll be sending people to Estacada, Oregon to learn the great things that we're doing, as well as Maggie said, large groups from different school districts from the state of Mississippi who's also doing great work. We are excited to showcase the work that we're doing. Our teachers and our employees are excited and anxious to welcome these visitors into the classroom. But at the end of the day, we wanted to just remind our employees that where we're at today is perfect. And people who are coming to watch this are going to be floored by the great things we're doing, because where we're at in this work is significantly more advanced, and they're coming to learn from us. And so I'm very excited for this opportunity. I also just want to transparently state to the citizens who are watching this board meeting tonight that the Estacada School District last year on this event alone profited around $40,000. We expect to profit around $30,000 to $40,000 again this year, and we use that money solely for the professional development of our employees. This gives us the budget threshold to send groups of teachers to national PLC conferences. We sent a group to Iowa to walk through one of the best CTE programs in the United States. We sent a team to South Dakota to look at what they're doing in the classroom. We sent a team to San Diego to participate in a national PLC conference. And the reason why I just want to state why that's important is because we're sending our community's educators to some of the best conferences in the country to come back and apply to their kids, and we're not using a penny of taxpayer funds to do it. And I just think that this is something that should be recognized and rewarded for our hard work in sponsoring this thing. A lot of thanks goes to Danny Randall, Maggie Kelly, and Jen Berman, who all three have been instrumental in the planning and marketing of this event. And I strongly encourage the board, if available, to come check this out because it really is quite an impressive event that welcomes hundreds of educational leaders and educators into Estacada just to see the great work that our little school district is doing, and it's quite fantastic. My final thing is just a reminder, and you'll see here on your board packets, the health curriculum adoption. And I want to welcome executive directors to participate, if available, to take a look at the curriculum that we're planning to purchase or we're exploring to purchase when it comes to health. As the board knows and as the community needs to know, every year, the state requires us to renew curriculum on a specific subject, and it's a 6-year cycle. So last year was math, I believe, and the year before that was language arts. This year it's health, next year it's social studies. But health is always a very controversial topic, and especially in today's world, it's a very controversial topic. And so your school district wants to make sure that every single person has the opportunity to come and take a look at this curriculum to ensure that it aligns with our community's vision and values. We are not a school district that hides things. We are not a school district that indoctrinates things. This is a team effort, and here is your opportunity to come in with your own eyes and inspect the units, the lessons, and the topics as we go through that process. And I'd like to invite the board to be a part of that process, as well as we'd like the community to be a part of that process. That is your superintendent's report.
All right, thank you. Yes, so myself, Chair Wheeler, and Superintendent Carpenter will be on stage day 2 at 9 a.m., I believe.
Yep.
So, but it is a great event, and anybody that can come down, highly recommend it. One thing I just wanted to touch on was ending fund balance, that range from 5 to 15. That seems like a big range.
Yeah.
But just for anybody out there listening, that's for any school district. So the smaller the school district, the more you need to have, right?
Yep.
So Portland Public is not expected to have a 15% ending funding balance. That would be a ginormous, like, I think Elon would show up and say you're wasting money.
Yes.
But in the size of our school district, we do need to be above that 10, really. And in that 10 to 12 is really the floor that I see in the 11 years I've been here. And so when we say we're at 13 and we need to have up to 15, everybody seems to think, gosh, we got all this extra, and it's really not. It's just based on the size of the district and the budget. That's the range that we need to be in.
Well said.
So. Any other questions, comments for Superintendent Carpenter?
Ryan,
Yep.
in the adoption of curriculum, we usually had, I didn't hear you talk about a committee that reviewed. Was there a group that reviewed this
Yes.
prior to it
Yep,
being?
correct. So we've had several committee meetings to this point, which is now kind of in the public viewing section. We included faith-based leaders, we included employees, and we included parents in the overall selection process.
And this adoption window it's a block of time you can come in and thumb through it. These aren't 7-hour meetings, correct?
Correct, yes, yep, that's correct. And there's multiple opportunities for families who can't make one, still have the opportunity to make the other. And thank you for reminding me too. It is likely that we'll be coming to the board in April to approve the adoption of one of these.
Where's this gonna be held?
It's in the portable.
One out back of the
Rivermill
elementary?
Elementary School
Yeah.
portable, thank you.
Same as usual, right?
Yep, yes.
Okay.
Yep, you got it.
All right, anything else? All right, thank you, Superintendent Carpenter. On to reports and presentations. We have a winter sports recap by Athletic Director Andy Mott. Come on up.
Good evening. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being
Excited
here.
to be here and share with you guys. Should I just hit the arrows?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. There we go. We actually just did this last week at the high school. So we had our winter sports assembly in front of the whole school, and so we recognized a lot of these kids that you're going to see on here. They came down and recognized by their peers with their seasons, with just some recaps of our season. So I'd like to share those with you tonight. Before we get to winter, there were some fall athletes. They don't come out with the all-state stuff until, closer to Christmas time. So when we did the fall recap, we didn't really have that yet. So I did share those on here. Austin Ireland was the second team all-state soccer player for the Rangers. Thomas Seal was an honorable mention offensive lineman. Johnny Cruz was an honorable mention offensive lineman. Dominic DeFrancisco was a first team all-state defensive lineman, which was awesome. Lincoln Rathmanner was an all-state defensive player for the Rangers. And then our very own Abby Berman was honorable mention all-state in volleyball. So those were our all-state kids from the fall sports for the seasons. Moving into winter, our cheer team. So we had a brand new coach this season for cheer, and it was honestly an excellent season. They kind of exceeded my expectations of even where I thought they would be, kind of doubling their numbers, attending lots of competitions, and then going and competing at state and really doing a nice job. So it was a great year for cheer. Definitely stepped up and had a lot of involvement this year. Girls basketball, a tough season, wins and loss wise, but they played hard and had a couple good wins early in the season and won more games than they did the year before. So that was our girls basketball team. Chloe Betts was a second team all-league basketball player for us this year, along with Rachel Marinick was honorable mention as well. Unified basketball also was just trucking along. Second year of Unified full-on in basketball. They had 5 games, a couple home games at home, and if you didn't get a chance to go watch them play, you missed out. So make sure you get out there in the spring and see them in kickball because it's a lot of fun to go out and support them. They really enjoy it. Boys basketball team, again, the highlight of their season was winning the Astoria tournament and a win against Seaside. And young team, so we'll be excited to see what they bring back for next year. Connor Crawford was an honorable mention guard for the Rangers, and Spencer Vitito was also honorable mention all-league for the Rangers. Boys wrestling, great season for boys wrestling. They just finished up state 2 weekends ago. We sent 7 to state on the boys side. You can see our state qualifiers: Braden Grusky, Leroy Mixon, Logan Riga, Turner Jackson, Jangelo Du Bois, Noah Hughes, and Willie Munns all competed really well at the state meet. Leroy Mixon was a first team or one districts for his weight class. And we had 3 guys place at state, so Noah Hughes was 6th at 190 pounds. Braden Grusky was our highest placer. He placed 4th at 113 pounds. And then Turner Jackson was 6th place as well for the Rangers. Girls wrestling, kind of similar to cheer, like in their second year, they actually kind of doubled their numbers. So we had a lot of new girls come out in our second year of having the program. Placed really well at a lot of our tournaments that they went to. Definitely a mix of a couple older talented girls and some really brand new wrestlers. But honestly, not a senior in the group. So again, kind of like the boys, pretty young squad. Should be really good things for next year. And cool thing about the girls, they were actually first academically. So if you look right there, they had the highest GPA in the entire state for wrestling out of the girls team. So that's pretty cool for our girls program. Swimming, again, only in our third year of that. We're still kind of growing the program, but we had 17 kids that finished the season. We're still swimming over at Malala, and again, it's just another offering. Winter doesn't have as much as the spring, like I'll show you in a minute, so a lot of kids are taking advantage of being involved in swimming program right now. We also have a bowling team, if you didn't know that. We threw those on the social media, but we had one girl bowler that kind of bowled with some Corbett and Centennial girls in co-op, but it was an Estacada team. And then we have a couple boys that bowled for Oregon City. But if you've never been to a district bowling meet, it's wild. So go check that out. I went there, Mount Hood. It was quite the day, but it was pretty cool to go check it out. So. And then middle school wrestling, great season. We had a brand new coach in middle school wrestling who did an excellent job, and shout out to Will too for helping Dan out. But they had a great season, 36 kids out for wrestling, and We hosted a district novice meet last week. There was a regional meet and a novice meet, and so we had two meets kind of going at the same time, and just great season for them. And then their track season will start here on April 2nd. So, and we've already got 56 signed up for that. So I'm sure that number will grow. But good season for them. And then just to look at our spring, like Ryan mentioned, our spring is going to be crazy good. And you're probably looking at the numbers. You know, we have a lot of kids doing multiple sports at the same time, and so you can see our numbers there. 78 in track. Our tennis teams are in the teens. Golf in the teens. Girls flag football has gone up in numbers as well, and boys volleyball as well. Those are both emerging sports according to the OSAA. So this is like their last year, and then next year, like the assembly will vote and say, hey, you're going to be the real deal. So we actually have leagues this year, and they're going to keep rankings and stats and stuff, and have state. But next year, could be official for both of those. But the kids are excited about spring sports for sure. And then don't forget about baseball and softball. So got 27 in both of those. And I want to invite you guys out to our first games next week. I told Ryan yesterday, we'd love to have one of you or two of you maybe come out and throw a first pitch potentially. You guys thank you very much for obviously voting in the turf project. I think it's going to be an awesome thing for our spring sports. I know other programs took advantage of it in the fall, but I know we're going to pay dividends on it with our teams being able to compete and not be rained out and be able to play games. So yeah, Tuesday is our girls softball team plays Milwaukee at home. We'd love to have one or two of you guys down there. That'd be awesome. If somebody wants to throw a pitch, that'd be great as well. So and then baseball plays Wednesday against Scappoose. So yeah, that's our spring and spring update and winter update. Any athletics questions?
I asked this question before, but I don't remember the answer. Could you tell me the schools that participate in Unify?
Yeah,
sports?
so it's actually kind of a mixed bag. We played Park Rose, Malala, Sherwood, and then like Lake Oswego, Wilsonville, kind of a lot of those schools. As far as our league, Malala is really the only one that has a unified team still. So we do a lot. We did a home and home with them. But a lot of Sherwood, Wilsonville, those guys, Lake Oswego, Lake Ridge are teams that we played as well. So hopefully it keeps growing as well. So yeah.
I've got a question on the football was redistrict, right?
Yeah.
Now,
So
is that just for football or does it bleed into other?
So there's actually there's two changes that are going to happen for next year's sports. The first is football because it's always been special district. And so they kind of actually blew up our league, to be honest. Malala is going to be the only league school that we have back again. Woodburn is back. Football, if you guys aren't aware, it moves up and down. Teams play up and play down based on winning and losing. So Woodburn went back up to 5A for a little bit because they won a few games and had a better season a few years ago, went to the playoffs. Well, they went back to 5A and didn't do as well. They moved them back down. So they're going to move back into our league. And we also, surprisingly, we added Cascade and Staten. So they kind of broke up the Valley League a little bit, which those are two really quality programs that'll be in our league. But I think it'll be a good thing, honestly. So we'll have a 5-team football league of Estacada, Malala, Woodburn, Staten, and Cascade. And then on the normal front, the big news was Crook County moved up, finally. I have to go deliver 2 more trophies to them tomorrow from our league. So, yeah, no one's sad to see them go. Let's just say that. But
And that'll apply to all sports.
That's all sports. So they're going to 5A and everything. So there's no it's nobody's moving into our league next year. So we'll have a 5-team league instead of 16. And then next year will be the new 4-year classification. So that could change everything again. So that's at least for a year. So
Thanks.
yeah,
But a much more competitive league on the football
much more
side,
competitive,
so
much more competitive.
we
Absolutely.
don't have to drive 6 hours to find competition.
Yes,
so.
yes, exactly. So yeah.
All right, any other questions? Okay, thanks, Andy.
Thank you guys.
Appreciate
Good
it.
job.
All right, next up is the CTE update as previously referred to by Superintendent Carpenter with Aaron Gardenhire. So come on down, Aaron.
Oops. Where'd I go? Oh, there we are. Found it. Hello and welcome. No, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you for allowing me to come and share some updates on the CTE. Last time I was here, I shared some visions and excitement about a potential CTE center in downtown Estacada. Those are still big, big dreams. We're still working towards that. But today what I want to share is some of the more localized advancements that we've had within CTE. In front of you, you should have a prototype. And I'm going to say this again. This is a prototype that I put together that outlines the work that we're doing within CTE and our vision of where we're going. The goal is really to provide a best-in-class experience for Estacada students and position them to be competitive in post-secondary opportunities as well as direct industry employment after graduation. And it is through a very strategic plan that we're going to be able to make this happen. The first page just kind of goes over what our vision is. What do we want to achieve and how we are going to get there? Lot of words. You can peruse as you wish, but I think the big points are the program sequence. This is a big piece that we have been working toward. And the other item that you have is the flow charts. So this really illustrates how we are going to plan the coursework that students will go through. Being able to map out how students will engage with CTE programming and leave Estacada, and we know that they have the skills and experiences they need to be successful in the CTE trades. All 4 of the programs are mapped out here. The first one being transportation and diesel. So we have split up the first year into 2 parts, and this is where Superintendent Carpenter was talking about the curriculum. In order to create this type of experience, we need level 1 and level 2 to be giving students the skills necessary to be successful in the trades that they choose. Levels 3 and 4 is where we're getting more industry experience. When we can say, yes, our students have these skills, it positions them for pre-apprenticeship programs, internships at the junior and senior level. So that's where that curriculum piece is so important, which will be coming in April or May with some recommendations for that. But as you can see, all 4 programs have been structured in this way. They go from an introductory course at level 1, level 2 is when we get into industry, and then the level 3s and 4s actually break off into multiple pathways. So within agriculture, we're looking at horticulture and animal science. So this allows students to really explore multiple paths within the agriculture program of study, sorry. Within manufacturing, this is one where we're having a bit of a change. What we're looking to do is go from where we had a really strong welding and really heavy focus in welding to be more of a comprehensive manufacturing program. This will bring in machining as well as welding, and we'll be using multiple materials. So students will get a greater experience and be able to enter industry with many more skills at their fingertips.
Which is metal and wood and.
Metal, wood, textiles, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. The other big change that we have is in the automotive. So one thing in all the research that I've been doing across the state, and I have visited multiple programs, individual school districts, trying to find out where the best experiences are coming from and how do we replicate that here. One thing that I discovered is diesel technology as a standalone program is not readily offered. In the metro area, it is primarily automotive. Students are able to explore automotive. CCC offers automotive. Diesel is not. So in looking at that, we would have to go to a different community college, and they are available. It's just not something that the metro area develops. So that puts us in a prime position to really support our community, where diesel is a huge need. It also is something that is transferable across all of our technical fields. So it's not just supporting automotive, it is supporting manufacturing and electrical. So that's where we're really gonna be looking at that as a strong pathway development. However, we are still going to give students the experience that if they choose to go automotive, CCC has an amazing program, and with articulation and being able to share students, we would be able to give them that opportunity as well. So it's not limiting students, but actually giving them more opportunity. And then finally, this is the brand new one, and this one's the one I think I'm most excited about, because it's full design and development, is electrical systems. This is a big undertaking. Again, there are only 4 programs, including our program in the state of Oregon, under electrical systems. Benson, Sabin, Schellenberg, and Grants Pass are the only other 3 that offer this program of study specifically. Again, we are developing it with multiple opportunities for students with renewable energy and agreements with PGE. I'm working with IBEW 48 in seeing how we can get some pre-apprenticeship opportunities for students, and really working with local industry partners to support the community and get our students into those positions. The other part that I'm really excited about is the Career and Technical Advancement for Youth in South County. This is a this actually spells catalyst, so it is something that really is moving our students forward. And it's a collaboration between Malala School District and Estacada and Clackamas Community College. What this partnership does is it opens up a whole nother path of opportunities for students. Malala is currently developing their own CTE pathways. We are developing ours. This agreement would allow students from Estacada to engage in those pathways and those learning opportunities at Malala, but remain students in Estacada. They also is in partnership with CCC, so those same college credits and dual credit opportunities would be afforded to Estacada students. It is a fantastic opportunity. We get to focus on the needs of our specific community, but we also get to have students have the opportunity to explore other pathways, and we don't have to necessarily develop them in-house. So it's a fantastic opportunity. The back of the packet talks a little bit more about what I've coined Catalyst. That name is not firm, that has not been voted on, but it gave some inspiration on how to develop the goals and mission of that project. And so here's really where I'm moving between now and the end of the school year, is really working on that ODE program approval process for electrical. We are in really good position to be able to have that to the state before June. Pathway flexibility, how are we ensuring that all of these pathways get some foundational learning? Where are we gonna start and where are we gonna develop? This is a 5-year plan that is not a 1-year plan. Industry recognized curriculum and tools, like I said, that is kind of the foundation of ensuring that we have a high quality program. Getting those letters of commitment, I'm working with PGE right now. CCC, we already have some from a previous grant, but continuing to bring those in. And then making sure our instructors are ready and certified. My goal is that we would be able to have our programs in position to be BOLI approved pre-apprenticeship. We may not go down that pathway, but what I understand is if we can have those skills and experiences in alignment with BOLI, that when they go into the apprenticeship programs, points would be awarded the same, regardless of whether we were BOLI approved or not. So that's the standard.
I'll add to that. I happen to be on the
Okay.
IBW board as well.
Sure.
And the approved pre-apprenticeship programs, in some cases, give direct entry to these apprenticeships. So
Yeah.
if you can get that accomplished,
Yep.
it's a much faster path
Yep.
for kids going through that.
So we are definitely looking at those opportunities and paperwork and all. So I'm excited for those new challenges to come between now and June and then into the future. Questions?
Yeah, I've got a couple of them.
Perfect.
My background is manufacturing. So I can see us teaching kids the math, programming like CNC programs, CAD/CAM. Is that the area that we're gonna be looking at? I'm assuming we're not gonna go out and spend millions of dollars for some machines because they are very expensive. So this is the basics, teaching them the math and the CAD/CAM programming and things like that.
Correct. Correct, yes. We want our students to have a strong foundation that they could go into entry-level positions in the manufacturing field, or they would be in position to go to CCC and take more advanced coursework, and some of that coursework to get their certification would already be taken care of through our programming. So making sure that we're in alignment with what CCC is doing.
Okay, in relationship to diesel mechanics, I've taken my motorhome into Freightliner and Northwest Cummings a few times, and I'm always asking, because I tell people I've got hydraulic in my veins instead of blood. And I always ask them what's going on, and how did you get here, and what schools did you go to? And there are certain schools that are designated for diesel mechanics, and it seems like all these guys and gals go through those schools. What are we going to do to get them prepared for that? It seems like it'd be a very specific design area, and I'm just kind of curious what we can do there.
Sure, that's a great question, and those are the places where articulating with those schools is gonna be so important. We're also looking again for the foundational pieces. I think it would be challenging for us to really just focus on one area, because students going out into the world are gonna have different interests, and we wanna make sure we're preparing them for their future. The pathway right now looks to be a combo at level 1 and level 2 for gas and diesel, whereas then the pathway for diesel would be a more generalized maintenance, and then when they get into the schooling, they would specialize more specifically on the different components of diesel engines and machines.
Okay, so we're gonna prepare them to go to the school?
Correct.
Probably. Okay.
Correct, and try and give them some dual credit opportunities so that it's less cost, easier access to those programs.
Have we contacted any of these specialized schools to see what we could do to get these individuals prepared to go to that school?
So I actually just was able to visit Willamette Career Academy in Salem, and they have a diesel program that is with Shemeketa. And so that is the school in which I'm reaching out to articulate our programming with, is Shemeketa, to get them to the bigger training centers.
Good, thank you.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
More than a question, I just want to make sure that, I don't see anywhere in the program in terms of programming, making sure that when we're handing students off or that they're going and we're creating these relationship with apprenticeship programs. A lot of times during the handoff, it's where we lose students or we don't track them. So I just want to make sure that when we're doing all this legwork and we're creating these amazing programs for our students, we just want to make sure that at the end, that there's a mechanism and a way of tracking students and making sure that they don't get lost after we hand them off and that they secure a career in the trades. So I would love to have those stories afterwards.
Right.
Yeah, that reporting.
Absolutely, absolutely, thank you.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks. There's a lot of detail here, and it's really comprehensive. In the programs that I run across the country, Joe's an employer, so you probably could say differently. Our customers, our students, and our parents, and our partners in the business community are looking for job-ready certifications when they're done with even when they're done with high school. I see OSHA is on there, and there's some other certs in the technology and diesel. But I would, one of the key performance indicators I would see in this is to be job-ready certified, as many as those kiddos can have when they leave the building, even if they get additional help from community college or the other programs, because I think that's really important to employers to know that they have that certification in hand.
Great. Aaron, if I could just ask a question that I just want to be spoken out loud publicly is, you know, for a decade, our wood shop at Estacada High School has been mothballed. And over the last year, we have started to introduce some introductory woodworking classes, and some partnerships are emerging through the woodworking process. And I just wanted to be clear to the community and to others who are just actively starting to engage in that process, that by moving in this direction, we're not cutting the things that we've started, and we're not moving away from the woodworking. And so could you just share a little bit about how really the woodworking part comes back into the manufacturing part?
Absolutely. So with the woodworking, what we're looking to do is move it into our machining and manufacturing versus a separate woodworking, which actually falls in the pathway of construction. And we don't have a program of study of construction. So this way, students get to use wood material, create and design prototypes, but then really looking to use it in a manufacturing setting. So yes, woodworking is part of it, but as a manufacturing tool, not as a standalone course.
Thank you, that's perfect, and I just wanted to transparently communicate that. And in conclusion of this, to just kind of partner with the great work that Aaron is doing, when we get to that proposed budget in the next couple of months, you will see our proposal for an additional hiring of an FTE in the CTE program, and that's to establish our new electrical and electrician pathway through the engineering process of that. And then also, as Aaron quickly alluded to, it's our long-term vision, and we're expecting to enact this long-term vision not next school year, but the year after, to partner with the Molalla School District. And right now, we're working on not only logistics and class offerings, course offerings, different expertise at different school districts. But at some point, I will be inviting you and asking you to have a joint board workshop session so that both Superintendent Tony Mann and myself can speak to both boards, just so that we know that we have board support as we engage in this process. But you know, what a 5 out of 5 would look like is Molalla becomes a welding expert. Molalla has an aviation program. Molalla has this, while the Estacada School District specializes in diesel technology and in electrical technology. And then we start to be fluid in terms of where we send our kids. So it actually doubles the opportunities for both Molalla students and Estacada students. And if you think geographically of a triangle, Estacada, Molalla, and Clackamas Community College kind of makes a great triangle where we can become more fluid in the modern era to allow kids to have exposure and experience to other things. So I wanted to share that. But most importantly, this is not only to the Board of Directors, but to our community at large. We know that there's been a high demand and high request for us to revamp and revitalize our CTE programs. And I hope this presentation tonight and Aaron's just incredible work is the first indication that we are getting serious about our pathway programs and our pathway opportunities, ultimately giving students the same opportunities that other students get to experience in other school districts. You look at Sabin-Schellenberg, for example, in the North Clackamas School District. Milwaukee, North Clack, Nelson, and Putnam get to send kids to these centers where there's just amazing work getting done. And our kids and Mollalla's kids are entirely disadvantaged from not having that opportunity. So we're really trying to recreate that process, ensuring that our students are equally as competitive in that process. And we also believe that this revamping and this retooling of our specialization makes us more attractive to local businesses and other industries as well. We know, at least when I say we, I know that our school district has fallen short time and time again of producing students to feed the need of our local businesses. and our local companies. And so I really believe that our transition to this pathway with this curriculum makes us more attractive to local partnerships to want to utilize our kids and feed them directly from our school district to workforce. And so thank you, Aaron, and I'm just really excited about what the next few years look like as we retool this portion of our educational experience.
Did I see somewhere in here where PGE is interested in some of the students also?
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
So we'd partner with them possibly?
Yeah.
yes. So I'm actively working on an MOU,
MOU.
a memo of understanding
Oh,
for
Contract.
partnership.
okay.
Absolutely.
Would we have to carry insurance for these kids?
We already have it.
Okay,
Yep, we're covered.
okay.
Yep,
All right, thanks, Aaron.
Thank you.
great job.
All right, on to G, which is discussion, of which we have none. On to H, here's the citizens for action items only.
We have none?
We have none there. Going on to I for action items, and before we get to this, as per policy BBFA, I will declare an actual conflict of interest, and I will not be participating in any motions, votes, or discussion on the action item I-1.
Well, in that case, Director Martinez, I'm also going to declare an actual conflict of interest. I will not vote, debate, or discuss the consent agenda.
So we'll pass it over to Director Martinez to
Sure.
run the consent agenda.
Perfect. So, moving into action items, the consent agenda includes a package of one or more items to be voted on as a unit. However, if any board members is not in favor of one or more agenda items and prefers to take separate actions, a request to the chair anytime prior to the vote will remove that items for a separate vote. Looking for a motion.
Director Martinez, I move to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
So we have a first and a second. Every
Discussion.
discussion? Is there discussion? No discussions. All those in favor, please raise your right hand.
Motion carries?
Good job.
Nice job, first one you've run, so congratulations.
Just wait.
Just wait, there'll be
Just
more.
wait.
Coming for you.
All right, on to item J, to approve and extend the superintendent contract.
Vice Chair Rydell, I move to approve and extend the superintendent contract from 2025 through 2020.
Second.
Moved and seconded. I would say just from to kick off the discussion part, as the public, I'm sure, is aware, well aware, we have a very robust performance evaluation process that we complete every year for Superintendent Carpenter. Every board member is involved in that. And those results are compiled and have been delivered to Superintendent Carpenter. And just from a time frame standpoint, that needs to be done in February because contract extensions or non-extensions or non-renews happen in this meeting. And so we needed to have that done so that we could do item J today. So I think the results are clear. When we look at the performance of the school district, when we look at, graduation rates that we're going to continue to celebrate, employee retention being voted a top employer in the state of Oregon, we could go on, but clearly the work is going well. And as we look at scorecards, there's still additional stuff that we want to continue to improve upon. And
Absolutely.
And success does not equal, I was going to say laziness, that's not the right word, but content. Success does not equal content, and so we will continue to drive, and I know that you will do that with your team, so.
Yes, thank you.
Any other comments on that from the group? Okay, moved and seconded, discussed. All in favor, raise your right hand.
Motion carries?
Thank you.
And on to item K, to approve. Man, you fall out of practice really quick in doing this, man. It's only been a few months.
You can give back to Rosa.
To approve the budget calendar.
Vice Chair Rydell, I move to approve the 25-26 budget calendar.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Looks like Wednesdays.
think we have already discussed it, so this is the final, so, all right.
We are looking for two budget committee members, which are opening, so if you know anybody that would like to get involved in the Estacada School District, this is a great pathway to getting involved in leadership. But just wanted to share, we have two.
Which camera's on? Is it the one straight in the back? If you've ever had a question about how the money is spent in the district, please come down and join the budget committee. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Good. I like
Is that
it.
nice?
Yeah.
Wasn't loud enough.
Be louder. All right. Yeah, and we're excited, Tanner, for your expertise in working through this, so excited to get into budget season, so. All right, moved, second, and discussed. All in favor, raise your right hand.
Motion carries.
On to item L for hearings of citizens for non-action items.
Yes, we have Austin Ernest? Ernesti, okay.
Austin, come on down. I think we met before.
Yeah,
I feel like we have. So I've got a little bit to read here.
Okay.
So I'm gonna read it. I'll
Do I
go
just sit here?
relatively quick. You can just sit there and hang out.
There's no buttons to push, so we'll be
No,
all right.
no.
Not yet.
So as a board, we appreciate and encourage public input. However, Oregon Public Meeting Law requires these sessions to be held in public. This is a meeting in public. It is not a public meeting. The primary difference being that public input may be requested or allowed, but is not required under the law. In other words, you have the right to view, but not necessarily to participate. Policy BDDH is the guide for public participation. In essence, it states that citizens must sign up in advance of the beginning of the regular meeting for an opportunity to speak. At all times, your comments are to be addressed directly to the board. Speaking time will be limited to 3 minutes or less. Those with common topics of interest are asked to combine comments where possible, designate topic at time of sign up, and stay on topic. Any items already directed to the Office of Superintendent for review will not be heard in board session. Finally, neither the board nor district personnel are expected or required to respond to comments and or questions during board meetings. I've read this once or twice.
Do you have to read that every 2 weeks? Is that
Anytime somebody signs up, so.
I'll try not
so-
to come back for you.
So what I will say is it is 3 minutes. It goes really, really fast. So we'll give you an opportunity to introduce yourself. Once you've introduced yourself, we'll start the clock, and once we hit the time, it's gonna be a time, and thank you. Awesome, thank you.
Hello, my name is Austin Ernesti. This is Andrew Sloan. We are from Trajectory. We are an educational nonprofit that is in Clackamas County. You can start your time. Oh, it's already gone. All right, cool. Actually, I had a whole thing I was gonna say, but after listening to you guys speak today, I was like, oh my gosh, I just wanna be in this planning meeting, because you were talking about all the things that are near and dear to us. You were talking about your woodworking program that's moving, right? Well, they get wood from Carpentry Plus that made that connection because of Trajectory, actually.
Awesome.
We actually are here because you were talking about Alisanne Bresco. Last year, at the beginning of the year, she contacted us to help fill out a career fair. And so we brought a bunch of extra people. We actually give out scholarships to students here. We do presentations in some rooms. We actually hosted a really cool field day with FFA kids last year. And in November, you had a kid stuck in a tree for like 2.5 hours because we brought people from Tree Dogs Arbor. He wasn't actually stuck, he wanted to be up there. We've helped support multi-school events, and we're kind of all around here. You guys might also know us, we do the Sandy Invitational Chainsaw Competition up in Sandy. This year it's gonna be Timber Sports and Decana's supporting it, it's gonna be great. We do a lot of stuff, and in fact, actually, we just opened up our partnership with a 9th school. The reason I'm saying all of this stuff is because we are partners with people like Sabin Schellenberg, and we provide ongoing support for their forestry program that they have there.
Awesome.
The reason that we're here is actually to try to add more work to Aaron's plate, because we are all about all this CTE stuff, and we want to bring in forestry. There are 60,000 jobs in Oregon for this. Right now, I think it's something like you could slot 8,000 people into the forest and have them work like that. I know that there's all this stuff going on in Washington, right? But that's completely separate. This is stuff that in Oregon has been on the rails for 5 or 6 years now, and I think a lot of people in this room understand that. We are everybody. We are little hippy-dippy native nurseries that are in our hometown, and Weyerhaeuser. We are Shade Tree Mechanics and Peterson Cat. We were talking about like programs for like hydraulics and stuff, right? We send kids to those programs. So we're here to support any kind of natural resource and sustainable forestry measures that this board would want to do. But really, there's already a train that's built, and it's called FNRL, or the Future Natural Resource Leaders. There's 33 schools that currently do this in Oregon, and it's very easy to slot into this. You guys actually have half of the classes needed to create that other additional program of study. And then we already have actually the network you would need for this. We have over 100 different companies or people that we can call. I have a handler for the Forest Service personally. We can bring in all of these people to help support you. We're talking about manufacturing, right? You need to call me because I made dinner for the Sodders before they even broke ground over here in Eagle Creek,
right? And so there's a lot of things that we can do, but when we create these programs, you already know, right? We increase grades, we increase graduation rates, and the end result for us is actually to find employment on the backside. That's something that we do regularly. The one thing we think FNRL actually misses is that connection. We put 2 kids to work last month that dropped out of Colton during COVID, right? So my time's up, but we're here. I would love to talk to all of you guys about any kind of support, whatever you want. People think I'm crazy, I do this for free.
That's it.
Awesome.
Thank you both for being here. Appreciate it. It's nice seeing you guys again.
I have business cards, come and get them for me, please.
All right. On to item M. That's adjournment.
Yep.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great night. Thanks for being here.